Hey everyone. Now I'm upgrading my network to IPv6, so I thought it'd be a good time to upgrade the switch. There's actually nothing wrong with this switch. My existing switch is an old Aruba S2500 and it works fine, but I'm going to put this a new Aruba one here, 6300. And I've done another little change too. I put a different wireless controller in there that's got SFP ports because my SFP modem, which was in this switch, won't work in the new switch, so I'm using it on the controller and just switching that VLAN through. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do. So this switch has been good, but fans are a bit noisy, so I'm swapping it for a different switch. So I'll see how this goes. Then I'm all in on IPv6, mostly. Okay, so this is what I mean. That's the modem cable that comes from the phone line to the SFP that's now going in that controller. And then it's just switched back through there on that VLAN that I use, simply because the new switch won't work with the SFP modem. I might try and figure that out one day, but that's how it's going to look. So I'm going to pull that switch out and put the new one in. Now I already staged this switch in the rack over there and set up the VLANs as they are on that switch, so it should just be a straight swap. And I put some IGMP stuff on there too, so it should go okay. We'll see. My Raspberry Pi router is powered from PoE behind here, so I've just shut that down first. And now I'm going to do something I very rarely do. Turn off the switch. And it would be silent except for that controller. So anyway, rip the thing out. Power connector on this switch has that little keyway on the connector, and also it's pretty close to the wall, so I've got this 90-degree one here. So I'm just going to use this adapter to plug into it first. Then it should actually fit. Just. Yep, the cable's nice while I'm here because once it's all up and running I won't want to turn it off. Right, now turn it on, which will make a lot of noise as it starts up. That way it can be booting up while I'm plugging all this crap in and finish screwing it into the rack. It might as well be booting up while I'm finishing the rest of it here, since I've got to wait for it to boot up anyway. Alright, it's in. Plug all this shit back in. The fans really wind up, but they do shut up once it's booted up. I swear. You can hear they're coming down now. Alright, that's the physical part done. Now I'm just going to go and have a look and see if everything's come up. No doubt something will need a bit of a tweak. Okay, it's up and running, but I forgot one thing. The VLAN 1 for my router, which I just use untagged, I had it set as untagged with all the tagged VLANs there as well, but I forgot to add VLAN 1 to the list of VLANs, so it didn't work. So anyhow, I've added that and that works. Of course I did that by the console cable, which I can now unplug. And something else that happened, I've set up the cameras again to get them up and running because I like to have them running. Now I use VLAN 80 for the cameras that I've got around the place, and they still use IPv4, and I'll tell you why. So the cameras stream video using RTSP, real-time streaming protocol I think it is, and the underlying library that uses is called Live 555, and that doesn't support IPv6. So any device out there that uses RTSP won't run on IPv6. That's my understanding anyway. So there's the physical setup. The switch has been changed and I've swapped the controller for one that has an SFP port, just so I can switch that through that VLAN for the modem there. It's a shame the modem doesn't work on this new switch, but I'll see what I can do about that in the future because I'd rather get rid of the big bulky controller and just use the PoE one that I had before. But anyway, that's the physical setup. Okay, it's been a couple of weeks now, and I've decided I'm going to put the old fanless controller back in because it's quieter. It doesn't have an SFP port, but I bought this little thing here to put the modem in. Okay, so this is a little TP-Link media converter, so you can plug an SFP in there, so that's where I've got my modem. So the phone line comes in and Ethernet comes out. It just goes into the same VLAN as before. Now it currently uses a power adapter, which is 9 volts, but I'll just use a PoE splitter and run it from the switch. I'm going to make a couple of cables because this currently goes to the router and the controller, but what I'm going to do is grab the phone line here and feed it up to there and have that go down to the SFP modem, and then the other side of the media converter come through here. So I've got to make another 2 cables up here for the controller and router to move along there, and the one from there to there. So I'll do that now. So after I finished making those cables, this is how it ended up looking, which isn't quite how I wanted it to be, but it's just going to have to do for now. The back's still a bit messy though, with this media converter here powered from the power adapter. So what I'm going to do is just make up that cable so I can run this off PoE. Okay, here's a PoE splitter, and I can select 9 volts on this, which is what this runs on. So I was just about to make a cable up with a couple of plugs here. Then I just found one that I've already got made up, so that saved me making one up. So that'll go in there, and that'll go in there, wherever it is. And I'll just sort of strap them together and slap them in the rack there somehow. So now when I plug that into the switch, you can see it powers up the media converter. So I'll just go ahead and strap that to the back of here somewhere and sort of neaten this blue shit up a bit. Alright, this is how it's going to stay. Modem's up on top of the switch. There's my little Raspberry Pi router that's doing all this thing, well, that thing there, and it's not trying very hard. If you look at the processor usage, it's really not trying that hard at all. And this thing here I haven't talked about really, but that's my GSM modem for a backup, what do you call it, 4G thing for a backup internet when it goes down. And I've got this little one here somewhere that I haven't actually got set up. I'm thinking of moving that to this. But the good thing about that one there is it's also an SMS machine. So I use SMS tools on the routers to get SMSs from things that I don't want to give my real phone number to. So anyway, that's the back of the rack. And as for these LCD screens here, I did have one of them showing the Powerwall power, but Tesla changed the interface and I haven't got around to reprogramming it. I just had some Python thing running that, and that was fine, and I had a spare one, but they're not in use at the moment. So there you go, nothing too technical this time, just a bit of shuffling stuff around there. Thought you might be interested. Anyway, till next time, take it easy.